Hello everyone, welcome to the Schengen Visa FAQs video part 1. I have received many questions and doubts about the process, documents, and the visa outcomes recently. Today, I will address some of these common questions. So let's get started. The most common question is, what should I do if I've made a mistake on the application form? If you've made a mistake and you've submitted the application already, then you must contact the application center. The contact number is mentioned on the website. Call them and explain them the error. Sometimes they're able to resolve the error right away on the call. But remember, sometimes it's not possible to correct the detail. But surely they will have a solution for you. If you're not convinced by the solution, keep a cover letter ready. On the appointment day, include this cover letter in the set of documents that you hand over. Make sure your cover letter explains the error and the correction needed. Apologize for any inconvenience caused and assure them of your commitment to provide accurate information. Some examples could be spelling mistakes, wrong identification number, or the passport number. When you're filling the application for two or more people, it's very easy to make a mistake like this. But if you're really nervous about the errors in the application and the call with the customer support was not very helpful, I suggest you create a new application from scratch. The second question that I've often come across is, how do I add my spouse or family members to my application? Please remember, if you require a Schengen visa for yourself and your family members, then you must create a single application with all members added to it. But if you already have a Schengen visa and you just want a visa for your spouse, then the application must be only for your spouse. There's no need for you to create an application for yourself. There is a common question about husband and wife traveling together while husband already has the visa. In this case, the wife needs to create an application just for herself and submit the supporting documents. Do remember to add your spouse or family members in this application before submitting it. Once you have submitted your application, you will not be able to add any new applicant. The third question that I come across often is, which address shall we use while filling the application? As there are a lot of people who are not the citizens of the country they live in and are applying for Schengen visa, these fields in the form can be very confusing. Well, here you should be using your current address from where you're applying the Schengen visa. So, if you're an Indian citizen living and working in the UK and you're applying the visa from London, you must enter your London residential address. But if you're living in London and want to apply from Edinburgh, as there are no slots in London Centre, you still have to use your London residential address. Hope that is clear. The next one is a very tricky one regarding the travel dates. Could the outdated travel dates affect my application? Once we had filled our application and booked our flights for the 1st of March, and our appointment date was just 10 days before the travel date. We hoped that our visas would arrive in time as the application had the travel dates mentioned. But the visas came after the travel dates had passed. We missed our flights and couldn't do the trip. So, our visas were granted even though we wouldn't be able to use the visas for the date mentioned in the application. One of our friends submitted the application with travel dates in April, but it took a while for him to get the appointment date, and he had to change his plans. He again booked his tickets for June. He called up the TLS application center to check if they could let him edit the form or they could do it at their end. The support team informed him that they cannot and asked him to let the visa officer know about the wrong dates on the day of the appointment. The team also informed that the visa officer would be able to add a note on his application or probably would be able to change the dates on the application. So, now I've shared two examples where our travel dates were outdated while we were waiting for our visas to come and couldn't do much about it. In the second one, where our friend had a past date, in both cases our visas were granted. So, don't go through the hassle of creating a new application all over again. The next one is about how to ensure a multi entry visa. I've also explained about this section of the form in the step-by-step guide video to apply Schengen visa from the UK. Make sure you've added multiple entries in the number of entries requested in the section of this form. You should typically apply at an embassy or consulate of the Schengen country that is your main destination of stay. That's where you will be spending the longest duration of your trip. And if you're visiting multiple Schengen countries and the duration of your stay is equal across those countries, you should apply at the embassy or consulate of the country where you will enter first. Make sure to add the approximate number of days that you plan to stay in France for the coming year. As you can see from the example on the screen, we had planned arrival in the Schengen area for the 1st of June and the departure is 4th of June, which is 4 days in the Schengen area. In the field number of stays planned in France for the coming year, I would add 2. With all this mentioned on the form, I had also provided the flight tickets, accommodation details, and the itinerary of my trip. So, ensure three things here. One, providing a comprehensive travel itinerary showing multiple trips during the visa validity to different Schengen countries is very helpful. Adding a cover letter that outlines your travel plans with the reason to travel multiple times, like visiting a friend, family member, or just for tourism. 2. Submit all supporting documents. This will strengthen your case. 3. Showing strong ties to your country where you live and work. This assures the embassy that you will return after your travels. It can include employment letters, property ownership, bank statement, or any other evidence that highlights your commitments or obligations in your home country, that is, from where you're applying the visa. Please remember that there is no guaranteed way to ensure a multi entry visa, but these steps will increase the chances to get one. The next one is the most common question that I'm getting lately. It's impossible to find appointments on the TLS website in London. I've experienced this myself and missed a fully booked planned trip early this year. There is a very high demand for the appointment slots. It's possible that all the available slots have been booked by the applicants. So, try checking the website frequently as new slots get available due to cancellations or additional capacity. If you are also facing this situation, you could do two things here. One, you can look for appointments in a different city in the UK. One of my friends traveled to Edinburgh for the appointment as there was no appointment slot available in London. Two, completely different consulate. A lot of my friends applied to different consulates and got their visas. The next common question is, shall we cancel our existing appointment to book a new slot or a recent one? Due to unavailability of appointments, a lot of people have got appointment dates that are 2 months away. Sometimes, if you log into the website again, you can see new appointment slots appearing. Early on this year, a friend of mine who had booked an appointment for April could see some new appointment dates that were in February. He got really tempted and cancelled the one that he had. But while booking the new appointment, which was in February, there was some error in the system, due to which the new appointment did not get booked and he ended up with no appointments at all. He had to wait again to find the appointment. So, my advice would be to be absolutely sure if you want to cancel and book a new one. If you do not have an urgency for your travel, you could still try and get a new appointment date and hope there are no system glitches. I would personally not take any risk given how the appointment slots availability is nowadays. Well, the next one is quite funny, and a lot of people have faced this. Where did my TLS account go, or did it expire? It took me a couple of times to understand why my account has been deleted. Initially, I thought I couldn't remember the password, or my account has expired for some reason. Soon I figured out that the website is deleting the accounts that have not been used in the last 20 days. When you're trying to book an appointment slot, the 20 days passes very quickly and you still don't find a slot. So be mentally prepared to create another account if yours was expired. I get asked this question very frequently. Can I get a multi-entry visa with just one travel proof? Well, it is generally recommended to provide multiple travel proofs while applying. It is possible to obtain a multi-entry visa with just one travel proof. However, the decision ultimately rests on the French embassy, who will consider various factors when evaluating an application. But to enhance your chances to a multi entry visa with a single travel proof, it is important to ensure that your travel plans and justifications for multiple entries are well documented and are convincing. Here are two tips. 1. Provide a comprehensive itinerary that outlines the entire travel plan within the Schengen area. Even if you have one primary purpose for your trip, such as attending a conference or visiting a friend or family, include any other city or country route which lie in the Schengen area. 2. Clearly explain your justification for multiple entries in your application cover letter. The reason why you require multiple entries, even if you have only one travel proof. Emphasize the need for flexibility in your travel arrangements. I know a friend who recently moved to the UK and applied for a Schengen visa. He just provided one travel document, but he created a nice cover letter mentioning that he's moved to the UK for work and he wanted to travel Europe. So he will make a few more trips to the Schengen area this year. He included a rough plan in it. This helped the consulate to understand that he has an intent to return back to the UK after his trip was over, and also that he might need a multi entry visa. Last but not the least, what are all the documents that are to be submitted is a very frequently asked question. I've covered this topic in depth in my step by step guide to apply Schengen visa in the UK, but I'm addressing it once again. While applying for a Schengen visa from the UK, you will generally be required to submit the following documents. You will need to use your completed visa application form with your original passport. It should be valid for at least 3 months beyond your intended stay in the Schengen area. It should also have at least 2 blank pages. Next is your BRP. It is a proof that ties you to your home country. You also need to include 2 passport size photos taken recently that should meet the specifications set by the French embassy. Typically, 2 photographs are enough. Next are the financial documents. You need to submit proof of sufficient financial means to support your stay in the Schengen area. This can include your bank statements, pay slips, or any other evidence of your financial situation. You must also provide proof of employment or study. Provide documentation that demonstrates your employment status or student enrollment, such as employee letter or an enrollment letter from your educational institution. The next one is travel itinerary. Present a detailed travel itinerary including confirmed flight reservations or travel tickets with specific dates and travel plans within the Schengen area. You could also add event tickets such as walking tour or a bus tour, for example. The next one is really important, the travel insurance. Obtain travel insurance that meet the Schengen visa requirements. The insurance should cover medical emergencies and hospitalization. Last but not the least, accommodation proof. Provide proof of accommodation arrangements for your entire stay in the Schengen area. This could include hotel reservations, rental agreements, or an invitation letter from your host if you're staying with your friends or family. So, this is the list of all the document proofs that you need to submit on the day of your appointment. Hope these 10 frequently asked questions will help you in your visa process journey. Please leave comments if you have any more questions, and thank you for watching.